Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 22. I'm Jeanette Bergstrom, artist, and I'm going to be talking with my fellow artist friend, Terry Wilson Art, and we're doing our episode 22. Hi, McCafferty Art. Here's Terry. I'll invite her to come on. Okay, Terry. It's almost summer. We are excited to be talking with you. Hi, Terry.
Hi.
I gotta lift up my thing. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm loving my nickname, Tear.
Terry.
I love a nickname.
Hi, Art by and McCafferty. Let's see. Art by Faye. I love it. B. McCafferty. I'm probably
Melody.
McCafferty. Melody. Yay.
G.
Thanks for joining.
Kennedy.
That's Genevieve. Hi, Genevieve. Hi, Beth.
Beth.
Thank you guys for joining us. So it's just the two of us today, and we are just going to be chatting about, I'm going to let Terry take it away. Tell us what we're chatting about today.
Keysart. Hi. Hi. We are talking about today a couple of things, but they'll all kind of go together. But mostly we're talking about distractions and how the two of us, hold on, I have to turn my other thing down.
Yeah, come
Because
closer
I can hear my echo going.
Yeah.
So
about closer.
Speaking of distractions.
Come a little closer too.
Why?
Just so your head is a little higher up in the picture.
Oh, well, that's why I have, okay, so here's housekeeping. I have my other tablet behind me, which is what I could hear. And so I look at it to be able to tell where I'm cut off and where I'm not, because when I've looked at our previous videos, half the time, it's like...
No, I can
so
see
I'm
you
trying
good
to
now.
gauge like where I need to be. Instagram is really weird with how they have us chopped up in like this on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's causing a little bit of distraction for the two of us, is that we are this is the first that we're going to talk about it or announce it, but we are considering, and we don't know any of the logistics of it, and this is part of the distraction and clutter that's going on, at least in my head, is making this decision. But we're considering moving off of the Instagram Live platform or still going on Instagram Live, but streaming it so that we can be live on multiple avenues. So YouTube and Facebook and Instagram all at the same time. That's what we actually decided, isn't it?
Yeah, if we can do it, but we're still doing all the research. So if any of you guys watching us know anything or have used one or the other and would recommend something to us, because ultimately we're thinking that we will have like all the full episodes will be on a YouTube channel. So also let us know if you think that's a good idea, because we're just... we want to make it easier for people to search for topics and also to have everything in one spot, because Terry can't have the full episodes on her Instagram page. And this is something you guys may want to know if you're thinking of doing it. She's a collaborator, but she can't have the full episode on her page. It's only on my page. So she has to refer her people. She can show it that it's on in her stories and stuff, but she can't show the full episodes like you can just click on my lives on my page. So it's kind of not fair to her that she has to send her people over to me, although we're sharing people, so it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But
yeah, I mean, ultimately that doesn't matter that much, but it's still kind of just a pain in the butt that they haven't figured that out or given us more options. You know, they want us to be on the platform and they want us to keep people on their platform, but they make it very difficult to be able to do that and for it to be a seamless, you know, interaction between us and to the people that are watching or that are part of our community that we're trying to chat with and you know, build relationships with.
Yeah, so we thought if we did a channel together on YouTube, then we all just refer everybody to that one spot. And then we could still have it linked to our pages. But anyways, that's behind the scenes what we're trying to figure out. And as we do these lives, because we love doing the lives. And the only thing I worry a little bit about is you don't have, like, you guys can't ask us questions unless you
Well, but
DM
if we
us
do the
later.
streaming, if we
Then
do
they
the
can.
live streaming, they can. And then the cool thing is that people from all the platforms can ask questions or communicate back and forth from all three at the same time, which will be
That would be
awesome.
that would be the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. So for sure, if anybody is already doing that or anybody knows anything about that, that can help our search go a little faster. I mean, I'm pretty much done with it, but it's just a matter of they're all basically kind of the same. It's like which one is the best one for what we're trying to do ultimately.
Yeah.
And then just make a decision because bringing it back to the distractions, that is distracting me from being able to create and to paint because it's clutter in my mind. And it's a clutter that's necessary because we're growing and we want to make the right decisions to move forward, but it's still inside of my head. And until I make the decision, it's cluttering up and taking space that should be free for painting ideas to come in and for that thought process.
So hi, Lisa. I wanted to just reach out and say hi, Lisa,
Oh,
really quick.
hi.
But what's interesting, what I found is interesting when we started, we had a little brief conversation about what we wanted to talk about today. And I was already automatically processing the how. Like I was thinking, okay, well, I get distracted. I'm doing a part-time job right now to make ends meet. Hi, Tekamak. Hi, Erwin.
Hi.
And so I'm not getting as much free time as I had to paint when I was working from home. So it's becoming more of a struggle. So my thought process was right away, like Nicholas Wilton just posted about this, his sketchbook, where like he even had just a solid color painted on one side of the sketchbook and he wrote some notes down on the other side. And that's all he did for that day. Like I was thinking in those logical terms of like, okay, you spend 15 minutes a day, even if it's just prepping a canvas or putting something in your sketchbook or jotting some thoughts down, just so that you are doing something to move you forward. But then Terry brought up this fact, which I thought was so interesting. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. So tell them what your thought process was with that, with the distractions. Where you were, it was more mental for you than it was
Yes.
an actual act.
Yeah, so that's when we talked yesterday about this. You're right. That is what what we found out was that we both have a distraction, but mine is more mental and yours is more physical, right?
But it
And
doesn't necessarily
so,
have to be. Like I thought when you said that. So explain what you mean by that.
well, what I mean is for me, and I'm learning all of this as I go, so it's a continual process, but I'm learning that when I have a lot of stuff in my mind, I can't create. It makes me feel jumbled up inside of my head, and then I will come into the studio and then I just sit here because I'm I don't know how to put it into real words, but it is that my brain, I just feel overwhelmed. And then I don't create from a place of joy. I feel like I'm creating from a place of just
Have to.
jumble.
Have
Yeah,
to
and have
instead.
to. Like, and I feel guilty. Like, I need to do it. I want to do it. I need to do it, but I can't do it because I can't let go of what's in my mind because I have all these decisions and research and things to do. And then life creeps in too. Life of, I had a doctor's appointment yesterday to have the checkup for my eye, which is great, by the way. You had Callie's teeth cleaning for your pup yesterday. It's all these things that then start to creep in the time that you do have to paint and that you set aside for me, for my mind to try to be clear. Then all of these other things start to creep in. And so I did something yesterday, which we'll come back to, but to try to mitigate it as much as possible.
So what I found fascinating is because when I was thinking action, what Terry said to me was very more true in the fact that we don't allow ourselves time to just sit and dream and think and let the creativity come to you.
Yes.
We're so distracted by the outside. So when I was thinking, oh, well, we could talk about, you spend 15 minutes in your sketchbook and you do something in that every day. And Terry's going, yeah, but we also need that breathing space, that mental space, so that creativity can come in. I was going, you're right. We never talk about that. We never talk about just sitting and relaxing and kind of enjoying and thinking about things and letting those images come. So that I was fascinated when she said that to me, because it's like a little light bulb went off to me, and I go, hey, yeah, I deserve time to just sit there and ponder.
Yes, absolutely. I guess I didn't realize that's what you were getting at. So next time, just be specific with me because I'm all over. My brain is so full of stuff. It's like, what did I say? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that time too. And I want to be able to have that time guilt-free, because in my previous life, those times where I should have been and I needed to be doing something else other than just sitting there. That was a luxury that was not afforded very often. And in creating, for me, it is a necessity. It is a necessity. And with all of that stuff going on in my brain that's cluttering it and distracting me, even when I'm just sitting thinking, or if I have some time to sit and think, what am I thinking about? Not painting, about YouTube and Instagram and this and that. And so it's like, so today is about, like, how do we create these boundaries around that creative time that includes doing nothing to be able to be creative?
Which I loved. Like, I can do my 15 minutes in my sketchbook to keep me on my path. But what if I did 15 minutes of just thinking?
Yeah.
And not doing anything.
And bouncing it back and forth. Like, you might need, or if you had a glorious 30 minutes, you could have 15 minutes to think about it and get into the mindset, and then 15 minutes to start creating.
Yeah.
I mean, to create, to be in your sketchbook to do that. So
this is only for the fact of setting boundaries so that you don't let your art practice be on the back burner.
Yeah.
So it's allowing yourself the luxury of having even a minimum of 15 minutes or a minimum of a half hour that you do carve out that time. Like you said, even if it's just sitting and dreaming and pondering and not physically doing something like I was thinking, but you're just sitting and pondering and dreaming and thinking. So I love that.
Yeah. And I think that's important, no matter if you're doing this like we are to build a business, or if you're doing it as a hobby, to fill your soul or to heal yourself, or, whatever the reason is that you're doing, that you're creating whatever you're creating. We say art because that's what you and I create, but there will probably be people watching this that have a different form of creative outlet. But no matter what, we deserve that time for ourselves to just be and do. And, and yes, it gets put on the back burner because I think we've been trained to think that it's frivolous and that it's not as important as the other things that are, our art practice is quiet, and it's to ourselves, it's very introverted, right? And so all of the other things that are out there distracting us are loud and they're shiny and they're colorful and they're like me. And society says that those things are important. And I think that we have to give ourselves permission. I know I do, to give myself permission that it's okay to that my art is more important than
And
those things. Because
right,
without it, I'm not
right,
happy. And if I'm not happy, no one around me is happy.
right. That's so true.
Right?
That's so true. Yeah. I totally agree. So yeah, I'm interested to see if you guys have any thoughts on that. Like, do you have any practices that you do or things that keep keep your art practice alive when you're either not either totally distracted by outside, and the other part we didn't really talk about yet is also just not being in the mood.
Yes.
Like, and that's where I say that physical act of doing something in your sketchbook kind of helps you get in the mood, just because, like when I was watching Nicholas Wilton's video and he was showing his sketchbook, it got me all excited and encouraged. And I was like, ooh, I want to do something like that in my sketchbook. Like, I want my sketchbook to look cool and fun. And so it was inspirational.
Yeah.
But I guess that I can consider that part of my art practice by just looking at that video, right?
Oh,
Can I do that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, hello, I've taught myself to be creative by Instagram and scrolling and watching other people's videos. So I believe that for me, it's a very big part of my art practice is connecting. Even if the other artists don't know, I'm connecting with them because they don't know I'm watching their videos, but
Yeah.
I connect with half the people that are watching right now. I watch their stuff and I connect with it. Erwin is doing his alligator
Jewelry.
um the
His,
acrylic jewelry right
yeah.
now. And yeah, so I see that and then that inspires me to be like, oh, well, I never thought about jewelry. And like, there's just every person that you're watching is inspiration for sure. And Nicholas Wilton, I watched that same video that you did and I saw, and the interesting thing about his sketchbook that inspired me was that it wasn't all art.
Right.
It was
Right.
like one, it was just some lines that he drew. It's
Yeah.
just keeping his mind
Right.
fresh and in that creative mode
Right.
when life takes over.
That's the key right there, what you just said. Just keeping your mind in the creative mode, no matter what that is or what
Yeah.
it takes you as an individual to get there, and
Yes.
blocking out the time to do that.
And you said something interesting a minute ago, which was like that you're not in the mood to paint. And I'm pondering that in the back of my head because I feel like honestly, if we were 100% honest and like our life was perfect, we would always be in the mood to paint because that's what we love to do. That is our passion, right? And I think the only thing that takes me out of being in the mood is all the distractions
Right.
and the frustration that I feel because those
Right.
things are taking me out of doing what I really just want to be doing.
Right.
I just really want to be one of those artists that literally shuts their door to their studio for weeks at a time and is like, don't bother me. Did anybody watch Sex in the City? Like I loved that show. And Carrie dated an artist one time, and literally she would get in trouble for disturbing him. He would like just crack the door and be like, what do you want? Why are you bothering me? I told you not to bother me. I'll come out when I'm ready. Send food under the door.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would love that too.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. Yeah. Because with me, it's being tired. And I think that's why.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
because I have to do this other stuff. And so it makes me tired. And then I don't have the energy. And that's where I thought that video of just looking at his sketchbook was interesting because it got me kind of excited, like wanting to do something. I thought, well, if I could even just, like you said, just draw some lines in there, at least, I'm not losing that, because that stuff makes me excited. Like just seeing that and seeing how simple things can be makes me, anything around art makes me excited.
Yes.
So
yes.
it is the outside that made me tired, and the outside things that you have to do that takes away. So getting yourself
I think
back
you would
in
be surprised if you if you got into your sketchbook like that, because that is what energizes you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that you would be surprised. You start out tired when
Mm-hmm.
you open up the
Totally.
sketchbook, but
Totally.
then as you are
Yes.
doing it, it energizes you
Ex-
because your art is what gives you life and energy.
exactly.
So
Exactly. That's
the
what,
habit, okay,
yeah.
I get it, I get it.
Yeah, that's
So
what
you're
I'm trying to
creating
say.
the habit
Right.
by being in the sketchbook for 15 minutes, but pretty much you can almost guarantee it's going to be longer than 15 minutes because once you do it,
Right.
you're now
Right.
the juices are flowing. Now
Right.
you're going.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
It's almost like working out, same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who is excited to go to the gym? Nobody. But once you're there and you get going, you're that adrenaline starts to kick in and
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're going to do, so what are the practical steps to being able to do that? And the first thing is that you have to look at your schedule, right? And you have to write out and see. So this is what I did last night after you and I had talked. That got my brain going of like, okay, what are my distractions and what do I feel is pulling me away from, having this time? And for me, it's that slowly little things are being scheduled in. What I used to have all these days, every day was just a paint day and I had nothing that was taking away from my time. As the pandemic has changed and we're coming, I know we're far from it, but it's still, things are still trying to get back to normal and the world is opening up more, we're doing more things, then those things are starting to get in my schedule. Last night I created a schedule that I feel like will give me a couple of blocks of time to where I'm just in the studio and I'm going to not schedule anything during that time. If I were working another job and you are working another job,
Yep.
when you're at that job, you can't schedule anything
True.
during that time.
Very
And
true.
I
Very true.
think that we should treat our art practice in that same mindset of like, it's just as important as a job,
I
right?
agree. I
And
agree.
then we don't let anything creep into that.
I agree. I agree. I think that's fine. And like I said, I think anybody could do 15 minutes in a day or a half hour in a day. Really, that's like nothing, right? So why don't we do that? We need to and
I was
make
looking to see
sure
if
we get it
anyone,
done. Oh,
if we missed anybody's comment.
B.
Oh,
McCafferty said, you want to read that?
oh, sure. I feel time is hard to find, so doing a sketchbook is taking up what little time I have to create.
Well, it's
Oh,
not take, so let me clarify that. B. So what it is the sketchbook when you can't when you feel a little overwhelmed or like me, I feel tired and I don't want to go in and start working on a painting, I can do something little in the sketchbook and I could be sitting on the couch doing that. I don't have to be in my art room. So to me, it's a way of continuing the practice, but not having to be in the space with the paint. Like I could just be drawing with the pencil, or I could be out at the park and drawing with the pencil, bringing a little thing of watercolor. So I guess that's the way I was looking at it, not as doing the sketchbook in addition to, it's just if you don't have time to go in and start a painting or work on a painting, you could do that, because to me it's more versatile and easy and not overwhelming, and you don't have to feel like, you can play around in there. You could do sketches, you could do swatch colors, you could do, so I just I felt like that was an easier thing to do something creative when I couldn't come in here and actually paint something. That's what I was thinking. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense.
I think that that does, but I also feel like that I relate to what B is saying. Okay, Instagram names are so hard because it's like we don't really know your name because it's B, and so we're just going to call you B,
Yeah,
okay?
B.
Okay.
I like B.
Hi, B. So, I kind of feel that way too. Like, I feel like if I can find 15 minutes to create, I want to go create something that is like on a canvas versus going and doing my sketchbook. So I'm terrible at a sketchbook. However, how I create is very conducive to 15 minutes here and 10 minutes there, because I'm doing watercolor. Like right now, there's watercolor drying, you know, over here on my table. You can see it's wet. So I can just run in here in 10 minutes, put another layer down, and then go do something else. So
I was going to
I
say
feel
that
lucky
is,
in that way,
yeah,
right? I know you can't do that because you need to mix your paint and you need a huge block of time to create.
a little bit more than, yeah, sometimes more than just the 15 minutes or half hour. So
Yeah,
that's why I find the sketchbook for me fun to do if I
totally.
can't, versus doing nothing. That's, I
Brenda.
guess.
B is Brenda. That's my mom's name. I love that
Uh,
name.
Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Thanks for watching
Yeah.
us.
And then she said, that makes sense. I understand. Yeah, I think, and again, we're all individuals, it makes this world so awesome. And I think that we have to find, you know, what works for us and not feel guilty if what works for someone else doesn't work for
Correct.
us, right? That's the great thing is it can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you can customize it to you and your lifestyle
And
and
the type of art. Like
yes, and the type of art.
let's
Yeah.
say you're a collage artist and you just want to cut out things out of a magazine. So you spend that time that you scheduled. If you can't spend, and this again is time spent so that you don't lose the practice when
Yeah.
when you have a lot of life things coming in, you dedicate a certain amount of time, a minimum certain amount of time. Of course, if you have more time, no problem. But it's when you only have minimum time, to not let it be, not to not let it be kicked out. Like you set aside that time.
Yeah.
And then you can do like whatever that is that fits you, like you were saying, Terry, and B was saying, whether it's sketchbook, whether it's cutting out things from a magazine for your collaging, or whether it's looking at Instagram and getting inspiration from other artists. Like it could be any of those things, and whatever fits and feels more comfortable, it's just doing something so you're not losing your practice.
So Brenda, what kind of art do you create? Do you do mixed media? Are you painting? Are you doing quilting? Or I mean, there's so many different things.
Yeah.
I just got turned on to this gal that I'm following on Instagram now, and she makes glass flowers,
Oh,
and they are
wow.
beautiful. I've been on her list. Like she can't keep them in stock, like because I'm
Wow.
sure they take a long time to create, right? And so I got on her email list. I set an alarm. She was going to release like 10 of them. I'm just talking about this while Brenda messages us back. But dang it, if my PayPal messed up and I wasn't able to get it through to get the thing, and somebody bought my piece, I was so heartbroken.
What's her name? Does she have an Instagram handle?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, she does acrylic abstract flowers too. Yay!
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to see. Hold on. Brenda, am I following you? Nope, it says follow. I'm following you now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to see.
Mhm.
Okay, the gal that does the glass, it's hold on. I don't know if I can do it while we're on the thing, but
Okay. We can
I'll do a comment later.
yeah, put in the comment. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So acrylic abstract flowers. So an acrylic dries super fast, so you can get in there for a few
Mm-hmm.
minutes and, you know, create something. And
I can do it when I'm doing my little small ones, when I was doing it on my watercolor paper.
yeah,
But it's when I do the bigger ones that I need a bigger block of time for me. I mean, I
yeah,
suppose
yeah.
I can go in there and just draw some like charcoal lines and do that too. I think it's just
Yes,
whatever
yes.
fits.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And when I did my schedule last night, what I did was I found that errands and things like that were eating away at my day and taking me mentally out of my space of art space. So I decided that like on this day is the day that I'm going to do errands. And so whatever errand it is, it can wait until, unless it's an emergency, it can wait until that day comes up again in my schedule. Like
Okay.
I need to go to the pharmacy for me and my dog. She
Yeah.
has a prescription too. And then I need to go to the grocery store and I got to do some returns from Amazon to UPS.
Yeah.
And so then if I do those every day, that's an hour or two every day, and then I don't have time to
Well,
create.
didn't Jody King said that too? Didn't she say if you do it in section, like you schedule it so you have sections, like if you're better at painting in the morning, you do that, or certain days, depending on
Mm-hmm.
how it fits for you. If Tuesday is always your grocery day, and Wednesday and Thursday are your painting days, and then Friday is your social media day, and dividing it up
Yes.
that way too. You can do it by day, you
And
can do it by hour.
those are things that are creeping in as well that need to be done. And when I first started, of course, I had all the time in the world to paint because all I was doing was
Mm-hmm.
painting. But then as we started to build the business, and then we started to say, okay, well, I want to build a community on Instagram. Okay, well, that takes creating reels and recording, content and thinking about those kind of things. And then there's also,
Okay,
yay,
can I
if you
say,
sell.
can I just throw this out there? Filming myself while I'm painting, even though I have a hard time with it. I
I
don't like
know.
it. I feel intimidated a little bit, like I can't be as free as I normally would be. Something about knowing, and maybe it's just doing it constantly to where I
Yes.
could let that go. But when I know that camera's on and I got to have the camera and I can't block the camera too much when I'm painting and I got to have the angle so you can see what I'm doing, I'm thinking about all that stuff instead of just painting.
Yes. I agree with that 100%. I struggle with that too.
Okay, good.
What
It's
I
not
have
just me.
found, you will get used to just recording and not worrying about it anymore if you just start recording
And then
yourself,
you
right?
just
And
got to
then,
edit it
yeah,
later.
and then edit the pieces out that look good,
Okay.
or that are in focus or that are what you want to show. And then, I mean, I can record a 20-minute thing and only show 4 seconds of it,
Right,
right? So
right.
you just turn it on and let it go, and then use what's good, and then try not to you'll get to where you don't think about it anymore.
Yeah. I sometimes I feel like I'd rather just take pictures of it in stages, but then when I start out that way, I forget to do it. And then before
Yes,
you know what, I'm too far gone and then it doesn't make sense. So,
yes.
yeah.
And some of the
Social media.
classes that I've taken, I think that I would love to do some classes, of my own and show eventually what I'm doing, right? So I'm starting to kind of do that now on in my feed.
In your
But I've
stories.
noticed that all they do is they're just recording themselves, and then later they just talk, add voice over it and then talk about what they were doing or what they were thinking about. And that's the whole class that you're paying for.
Yeah.
So all of that footage that you're recording at some point can be used later also for, monetary for you as an artist to for somebody to buy your class.
Yeah, and also notice the difference between you and me. Hi, Ozzy Mama.
Hey,
Um,
welcome back.
yeah, welcome back. Glad you're back from your
Yeah.
trip. It looked
Yeah.
amazing. By the way, it looked
Yeah.
amazing. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yes.
But I wanted to say, Terry, I was doing some of the time lapse videos, and you were doing more real time videos, and I like the real time videos better. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. But
Well, the real-time videos are super easy to do. Hi, Lee. Welcome.
I
So Lee is is a new friend. I'm super excited, and she was at the spring show with me at the Best of the Northwest, and she got chosen as one of the 2 emerging artists.
yay.
And her art is incredible. You got to check her out. But yeah, so her and I've been conversing back and forth and seeing. I'm like, come do the fall show too,
Yes.
because I gotta. So she just applied yesterday, and I've got to apply this week. So we're both getting into the fall Best of the Northwest.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So welcome. Glad you came
yeah,
on.
how are we gonna, what time is it? What do we got?
Oh, I don't even know. Where's my?
I have 28 minutes.
Okay, we're good.
So,
So we were saying before I got excited for Lee coming on. I don't remember what
distraction.
I was saying. Surprise!
I love it. I love it.
We were talking about so many things. What the heck was it? Does anybody remember? Somebody tell us where we were, what we were saying.
Well,
And feel free to comment and talk with us.
yeah. And I'll do a little summary, Terry, and then jump in because you always have good things to say. Um, so I guess bottom line is there's going to be distractions in life. I'm going to be
Mhm.
tired from having to work this other job. Um, find what you can do so that you have a dedicated time, minimum time per day,
Mhm.
every other day, whatever you want to do that fits you, but have a dedicated time that you stay committed to so that you keep your art practice as a priority, right?
Yes.
I mean, isn't that
Yes.
bottom line what we're saying?
Yeah. Yes. And Brenda just told us that we were talking about videos. Thank you. We were. You were saying that you liked real time. You were finding that you liked real time better versus trying to do the time lapse.
Well, I like the time lapse because I don't feel as intimidated because it goes by so I can have it rolling for a long time. I don't have to go back and edit. And it's a little bit like once I do set it up and I am thinking that it's there and wanting to make sure I don't block it. But then once I get going, I kind of forget that it's there. But then I don't have to go back and edit them because it's time lapse. So it goes really fast and you see the progression. But I like when I see yours in real time. So I don't know. I'm just having that open discussion. I don't know which I like better. I guess you can do both without any issues, but I just
Totally.
sometimes when I put that camera on and I'm trying to get it focused on the canvas and also show what I'm doing so that I'm not blocking it out, it's just like I don't want to do it. I'd rather just paint and not have to film it. But I
I
know we need
know. I
content.
know. It
Yeah.
is it is the catch-22. I mean, it's where we are on social media. It's what they're requiring of us in order for them to show our content is to record. But what I try to remember is what makes me feel a little bit better is that, I got started by watching other artists do
Right.
real-time
Right.
stuff, right? And
Right.
and I learned, everything that I have learned over these last 3 years have been from someone on
Yeah.
Instagram. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. And so if they wouldn't have put themselves out there and shown what they were doing, then where would I be? I wouldn't even be an artist because I'm not going back to college to take,
Yeah.
and get an art
Yeah.
degree, right? So and I love watching them. So I just think, okay, well, there's got to be somebody out there that's maybe a little farther behind than I am, or maybe right where I am, that something that I'm doing might inspire them or give them information, which is the whole point of what we're doing with If This Canvas Could Talk, is to share what we're learning along the way so that other people can either save time,
Yeah.
heartache, whatever,
Yeah.
or even just join us on it and
Be on
whatever.
the
But
journey with us and talk to
yeah,
us about it. That's what we want.
yeah.
We
And
want people to talk to us about it.
so remember that when you're doing your recording is like that there's somebody out there. I watch your videos and learn. I remember watching one of yours and going, oh, I didn't know that's how she did that. Okay.
Okay, well,
Right?
good. I'll still do them. I mean, obviously, I got to still do them, but sometimes I just know I get that feeling like, oh, I just wish I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Then just don't.
Yeah.
Because you know what? What I'm teaching myself and what I'm reminding myself is that I am enough. You are enough. You're perfect just how you are.
Oh,
And your people will find you and they will love you just like I do for who you are and how you are. Just you don't have to change anything. And it's okay.
yeah.
In fact, I wrote a thing last night. I was writing to myself about the YouTube channel, right? So, and we talked about that in the beginning. We're going to move some of our full episodes of of what we're doing to YouTube, but I'm also going to do a YouTube channel of my own, right? And so I was thinking, I was feeling all this pressure of like what we talked about it yesterday, doing the Canva, doing all the things. We got to have an opening. We got to have a song. We got to have fonts. We got to have this. We got to have that, because that's what everybody else has. And when I was writing out, I wrote out, if you're looking for that, you are on the wrong YouTube channel, because I'm not going to have all of that. I don't want to spend the time doing it, and I'm not going to do it, and I don't want to spend the time. I want to create art. So I'm going to record myself making art. I'm going to talk about making art. You can watch it if you want, if that's what you're looking for. If not, roll on by, because this is not the channel for you. And I'm not going to bow down to try to get followers or monetize or do all of the things, because it's stealing my joy.
Right.
It's stealing our joy. So just record what you want, post what you want, be you, and if you don't want to watch it, bye, Felicia. That's old now, but bye.
Exactly. Way to go, my friend Terry. You're preaching to us all.
I guess, and to myself. I'm always just preaching to me. You guys get to listen.
I think that's a perfect way to end this conversation, my friend.
Okay. Well, G. Kennedy said, amen.
Yay.
Yes. Yes.
Said yes. Yay, Lee.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
We just need to remember that we're awesome. We're freaking artists. We're the cool people, you guys. We finally became the cool people.
That's right. That's right. And even if we're not cool, we're still artists.
We're cool. We are cool. We are so cool. People are watching what we're doing and going, oh my God, they are so freaking cool.
Well, I always go back to when you can create something out of nothing. It didn't exist before you created it. So that's pretty special.
Yeah, we're cool.
All right, my friend, I love you.
I love you too. Thanks you guys for being on with us.
Thanks for coming on and watching, and keep commenting or DM or watch the next one. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
We are so amazingly. We are. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye, everybody.
You are awesome.
Love you.
Love you too.